respond as we can. Hi. Said we'd give you a microphone. We didn't say it would work. All right, let's see if we can do it without the microphone. I think we'll probably start. Did you guys hear that question? So for the audience, if you couldn't hear, I think the basic of the question was, what happens when we exhaust the supply of skilled, capable people? Globalization will have its limits. Eventually, we'll reach a point where if we continue to base our business on the availability of skilled people, that we'll reach that limit. And I guess I'll turn to our two panel members who are probably thinking about that problem the most. What do you think about that?
Well, let me give you a quick perspective on why we are so bullish on India. The demographics, if you look at the demographics map, in the year 2020, we will have 47 million surplus Indians available for global work. At the same time, China will have a deficit of 1 million people. Almost all the countries around the world are going to have a deficit of workers, except India, with such a large surplus. Pakistan is going to have a surplus of about 19 million people as well. So I think the demographics support the industry. The question for us is really, that's the raw material that's available. How are we going to create the right public sector, private sector collaboration? How are we going to actually train these folks and really make them available for work in a global setting? And that's really the biggest challenge that we have. So part of it is going to be, we're not too concerned about the demographics, and we believe the global demographics are going to support the business coming from India. We are concerned, however, about the quality of personnel. We are concerned about investments in training and ongoing sort of ability for our company and, for that matter, the industry at large, for us to be able to continuously train folks and move them up the sort of, the training ladder. There's no easy answers. Obviously, the technology world is also changing quite rapidly, and hope is that it's no longer as resource intensive. But you would have a counter argument that we are moving to a world which is so technology heavy, and it continues to get more and more. There's ubiquity of technology all over. So to that extent, I mean, there's a counter argument that we are going to continue to require more and more technology staff and process outsourcing staff. So don't know if this answers your question, but.
I think, from my perspective, I think the global village will shrink and the differentiation will also reduce. And I don't think, it's not just India that is going to benefit out of it. I think there are other countries that are waking up to this knowledge that there is 47 million surplus in a decade from now in India in terms of engineering talent, when there's going to be a deficit in North America, Japan, and China, and so on, and they're not going to be quiet about it. So if you were to look through the crystal ball, I think it will be very hard to predict how this globalization and this emerging digital economy is going to source its capability from. But I think the success is going to be in people in companies that are going to invest in the future. In other words, not just reap the profits and declare them to the share owners, but to really reinvest in innovation, in automation, in better methodologies and tools, to take away some of the labor-intensive aspects of the work that is required in technology. And to that extent, I think those countries, in fact, even some of the countries like Ireland, where there's a lot of product development that's going on in areas to automate some of the process areas particularly, I think will stand to benefit as the dynamics play out in the market. So I would say, of course, India would continue to grow and reap the benefits from an opportunistic sense, unless companies within India start looking at this opportunity as a strategic platform to build higher value services. But there is definitely going to be other players in the market that are going to wake up.
Great, thank you. Do you have another question? This gentleman over here. Give the microphone another try. Still not working.
Still not better.
Oh, there we are.
Thank you. Okay, yeah. John Knowles, Allianz Insurance from the UK. Just on a similar topic, but much shorter term, and specifically on the issue of Indian attrition in the industry. I was struck by Aidan's comments there about wanting to get to the higher value that he could get from these people if he can free them from some of their SLA disciplines and have straight talking. But if the probability that the guys that he's having these discussions with and they're learning something about his business are very unlikely to be with that company in 12 months' time, again, the probability of delivering higher value services is severely compromised, and the trust of the purchaser, the client, is severely compromised. I'm interested in the provider's view on this and how they see that evolving in the near term.
We'll turn to our providers.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I guess attrition is a problem. There's a couple things to look at. One is that industry-wide, we're looking at attrition probably in the 17 to 18% range. And I'm talking more about IT services. BPO attrition is obviously higher. The attrition tends to be, if you actually look at the companies, one of the key metric to sort of look at is attrition outside of their growth. So, if you add a lot of people, that sort of obviously subsides the numbers as it relates to attrition. So if you leave that population of the folks that were just coming into the pyramid and look at attrition, it generally sort of is quite the same across the different providers. Now, within this, what we're finding is that majority of the attrition is actually happening at the junior levels. It is happening at the bottom of the pyramid, folks that are in the first 3 years of their work life. And that is because they are still trying to find their way. They are in the early stages of their career. We are not losing as many people in the industry once they move up beyond 3 years. So that's where you really start developing domain expertise. That's where you really start building program management capability. So I think that's not to say that we want to reduce our attrition at the bottom of the pyramid, but I don't think that we're losing the senior staff in the industry. Now, having said that, there's obviously the rest of it that comes into play, that when you have attrition at the lower ends, how do you address it through buffers and associates and using the right kinds of methods to manage the knowledge so that you don't have the challenges of some specific individual leaving, and there's always some backup available in the industry. That's really the best answer we have today as an organization.
Great, thanks.